Welcome to the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. We're streaming live on all social media platforms and podcast streaming channels. Get ready for a revelatory teaching from our apostle, Matthew Tillery.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. I am your host tonight, Matt Tillery. We really appreciate you. Listen, we are a few moments late because we are having some technical problems, but I think we got those things worked out. Listen, we really appreciate you. Thank you again for tuning into the podcast tonight. It's going to be a spectacular podcast tonight. I'm really excited tonight to have my guest. He's also my friend, and that's none other than Sheriff Clee Atkinson with the Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina. We're grateful to have him on the podcast tonight. Thank you so much, sir. I know you're a busy guy.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Appreciate you coming on. And listen, congratulations on being elected as president of the North Carolina Sheriff's Association.
Yeah, it's an honor, Matt. Trust me, it's an honor.
Awesome stuff. Listen, your office covers over 500 square miles, and I appreciate your leadership and certainly the commitment and the dedication of your entire staff in Edgecombe County. You all do an amazing job, and the public, the people that you represent, they really love you. So once again, I appreciate all that you do as well as the entire staff of your office.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So let's dig in real quick. Let's do a get to know me. So we know you are the sheriff of Edgecombe County, but who is Clee Atkinson?
You know, I've never been asked that question before, but I'll say this, man. I'm a gentle soul, and I think that I've been raised right, if that makes sense.
Yep.
The village has raised me to show compassion and love to people. And I think that's just transcended to me being in a leadership position as a sheriff. Who am I? I never had that question asked. In my own right, I just say, man, I just come with a lot of love and a lot of energy. And I'm a neutral kind of guy. I believe in people. I still believe that love conquers all. And I still believe that just hoping for the future of our young people, man.
Wow.
So, like I said, I'm still floored by that question because I've never been asked that before. But I'm just an old country boy from Wilson, just trying to find my way still. Just trying to make sure that I impact while I still can.
Well, I think you're certainly making an impact.
Yeah.
And you're making an impact not just in Edgecombe County, but all over. And that says a lot right there. You made an impact in my life personally. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and even the office of the sheriff, man. I mean, now when I think about the mission statement of the North Carolina Sheriff's Association, it teaches us to promote, to preserve, to protect, and enhance the office of the sheriff. And we do that through going down to the General Assembly, legislative issues, and through education and training. So one of the things I really enjoy about being the president and being on the executive board is we get a chance to sit down and see what's the best practices for all sheriffs across the state of North Carolina. So it's fun being a part of that and make sure we're doing the right things and making sure the deputies across the state get what they need to perform the job.
So you all provide training as well, and
yes,
yeah.
The sheriffs, a lot of times, when I go off to conferences, a lot of people think that I'm down there having fun, but it's like a 6-day work week for me. So everybody else is having fun, but we're actually trying to strategize, and we're actually trying to see how can we best serve in 100 counties the people of North Carolina. And it's interesting to see because we all across the state, man, and we got some of the same vision, some different, but what may work for me in Edgecombe may not work in Graham or Mecklenburg or Surrey County. But at the end of the day, we get a chance to bounce those ideas off of each other.
Wow. So what do you think is the biggest challenge facing law enforcement today?
And I'm giving it thought. That's what I'm asking.
Right. Yeah.
Even the traumatic incident that we had on Friday, sometimes people just don't want to listen.
Yeah.
And it is a major, major challenge for us. And I always go back to my upbringing and my home life. And used to, man, we see a law enforcement officer, man, you kind of pop to attention. But unfortunately, communities are not afraid of that anymore. They're not afraid.
I still do that.
I still kind of you kind of lock
that's
up.
the respect piece.
Yeah. And so one of the major challenges is, man, people don't want to listen. And they think these things right here really make law enforcement scared, but they don't.
Right.
Because most of the time we're equipped with body cams as well.
Right.
So that is a challenge.
Wow. So how important is trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve?
Right. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, but I think my mic went out. Can you check, see what's happening? Okay.
So repeat that again, Matt.
So how important is trust between law enforcement?
Oh man, it's a must have, And I think at the Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office, we try to make sure we're out and about in the communities and make sure that the little ones, the adults, make sure we build that trust and continue building on that trust, man. It is integral. It's an integral part. Because you don't trust law enforcement, and when a law enforcement may not even trust the community,
right?
That's a boundary that is a day-to-day process that we've got to continue to work on.
Wow. So I know it's a big challenge, but yeah.
Well, you just like with me and you when our team cycles,
right?
If we go around communities and they see us riding bikes, let them join, because really and truly they know who I am when I'm moving about. So it's small things. A lot of times people think this is big things that we have to do, but it's small things. And I always tell people all the time, we start talking about trust and building trust. And I'm one of the few people when you start talking about community policing.
Right.
Community policing is after you get off work.
Right.
And I think a lot of times, and a lot of law enforcement, they don't like for me saying this, but community policing is when you get off at 5 o'clock, when those young people still are calling on you after 5 o'clock, because if you're doing community policing 8 to 5, that's to me is work.
Right.
You get paid for that.
Right.
What are you doing to impact the community when you're not at work? And that's where I've been able to make my impact. A lot of times in my 30 years of law enforcement is when I wasn't at work. They can call on me when they say they're hungry, and I take them McDonald's.
Right.
And then when it's a hot scene later on, I'm like, it's Mr. Atkinson right there. I can get any information that I want to. So trust to me is when we're not working to build those relationships. Relationships are big.
So you just kind of hit on the next question, because how can residents become better partners in creating safer neighborhoods? And you just said that trust piece.
Trust. At the end, and we've got it. One of the things I always hated was when you see a young person with their mom or their dad, and they say, I'm gonna tell the law enforcement to get you, man. It really breaks my heart, and I don't like that at all, because we're trying to build trust. Right. But you're telling a little 2-3-year-old that may be a little disobedient for that time to say, you better jump straight because I'm gonna tell them to lock you up. Right. That's not what we should supposed to be doing. So those little statements like that's where the community can help us. Right. To say, hey man, that's your friend. Right. Call on this person. Right. It's a professional job. And really and truly, law enforcement is a good career. Still is a good career. Right. One of the challenges we're facing again, man, we're getting younger and younger. Right. You have a position. You think I can come down there and be a deputy? Right now, I can pick you up tomorrow, right now. So we're just going to continue to train and make sure we put out the best product we can in these communities. Right. Wow. Yeah, that's so how can churches, because I know sometimes when something happens in the community, a shooting or a killing or whatever, a whole lot of anger is developed and tension is built up. But how can churches and law enforcement, because I think that's very critical for the church and law enforcement to be able to work together, because the reality of it is, Sheriff, that's the only way that we're going to be able to build strong communities. Amen. Amen. So one of the things I try to do in Edgecombe County is make sure I have a partner with all my clergy. Right. I have all my clergy. They can have my telephone number whenever they need it. And I have an open door at the detention facility with my clergy. So if you pop up tomorrow and say you want to see a subject in my detention facility, then that's a go for me. So how do we partner? Number one, we need access to your cameras when something goes wrong.
Right.
You know, because the faith-based community a lot of churches have some great cameras, but it's hard for law enforcement community to get to them sometimes. Believe it or not, some clergy don't want you looking at them.
Wow.
You know? So that's a great way to partner with law enforcement. And then again, one of the things I always liked it with the faith-based community that I know a lot of people don't do it now is have a law enforcement day or first responders day at your church.
Right.
And I always thought that was a great thing to have a first responders day. And if clergy can hear my voice right now, I think that needs to come back so you can hear our voice inside of the church.
Wow. So do you feel like when that was happening that it was more effective in terms of the relationship piece?
Yes. And honestly, and I love church, but I think a lot of times you need to have a community concern coming from first responder, whether it's the fire department or whether it's police department, or law enforcement, because things can happen from Sunday to Sunday that the pastor, apostle need to hear.
Right.
And we've got enough law enforcement to go around and let the people to inform the community what's going on instead of showing up all the time when there's something tragic.
Right. And everybody is hot-headed and angry and all that stuff.
It's human nature. And that's when people start talking about de-escalation and all of this stuff.
Right.
I tell people all the time, my grandmother taught me de-escalation. See, we get so fancy with things. We want to put a title to it, and then somebody's getting paid for it.
Right.
If you're somewhat raised halfway right, my grandmother taught me how to calm people down and don't raise your voice and know people, know different people. So you're exactly right. Even coming into a hot zone and angers and emotions are going, everybody can't be screaming and hollering. Somebody's got to be calm. So my grandmother taught me that. No trained law enforcement officer taught me that. My grandmother taught me that.
Same here. And I had a situation just a couple of days ago that, I de-escalation kicked in, right? Because that's the way I was taught.
That's the way you was taught.
But what if, I could have escalated and then some more things could have happened, and I ain't trying to go to Edgecombe County.
I get it. I understand. And you're exactly right. It's just so much we can do if we just sit down, talk, and listen to each other.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do.
Right. But it sounds very simple, but it's a high task to do,
It is. Yeah. I mean, really, it is.
Yeah.
And one of the things we try to pride ourselves with the Edgecombe Sheriff's Office is, even with my team, I try not to leave from day to day angry with my team.
Right.
So before we leave, whatever's on their chest, I let them get it off before they walk out the door, because the next day is a new day.
Right.
So we try to practice that at the Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office, and we have these tough conversations. Let's have these tough conversations, because if we don't, you're going to take stuff back home to your wife or somebody's husband. So we have these tough conversations before we leave work every day.
Wow. And you may have hit on it, but what concerns you most about young people today?
Oh, man. My real concern with young people today is some, not all, don't appreciate life.
Yeah.
When some young people feel like the end all is to shoot, kill, hurt, they don't value life.
Right.
And that's the scary part, especially when the emotions are high and you can't calm young people down. So I've always tried to figure out, why is this young person so angry?
Right.
And one of the biggest challenges is, like, me and you, we value life.
Right.
And so we have 14, 15, 16-year-olds that don't value life. That's why they're ready to hurt you.
Right.
Because they don't understand about love. I tell young men all the time, man, I love you. And they look at me like I'm crazy.
Because they probably never heard that from a male.
Never heard it.
Yeah.
And then 4 or 5 years later, they'll say, Mr. Atkinson, I love you. I'm like, oh, he caught it.
Right.
And, and I let them know, so, man, it's brotherly love. I feel like one of the gifts that God has given me is the ability to approach anybody.
Right.
I'm not afraid to approach the gang member, not afraid to approach the homeless on the street, the prostitute. Those things God has commanded us to do anyway. But I'm not afraid to approach those people. And so I think that's part of one of my gifts.
Right.
That I appreciate. And
but that's such a tremendous seed that's being sown when you do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of those young men, they don't have the male figure in the home.
Mm-mm.
So they don't see that.
They don't.
And when you approach them and say, hey, man, I love you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the deposit that is being made in there?
I like that word, deposit.
Yeah.
That's what we're missing. And at the end of the day, man, for every male that can hear me right now, we've got to mentor young men and for and women for the fact of that matter. You got to pour into it, got to deposit. That's my new term. I like that. Yeah. Are we depositing enough in our young people? I'm really vocal, and I always say it too, even when it comes to school systems. These babies go through so much overnight that the first hour of the school system need to be a debrief or something. Right. Say what happened last night, because they're not ready to learn. And so I'm a big proponent on we may have to change how we're teaching our children in school.
Wow.
I mean, we can't continue doing the same things we've always done, because it's not working with some of our with some of the newer generation.
Right.
So, you know, I'm just always thinking outside the box. What can we do differently with our children, today's youth?
Right. Yeah. And once again, I think a lot of it has to do with the lack of discipline. Yeah. Now, when I was growing up, you know, my neighbor would tear my butt up. My neighbors would tear my butt up.
Right.
And then when I get home, I would get another one.
Wow. That's real.
But that's the way they disciplined us.
The village.
Yeah, it was the village.
You know, when I was a state trooper, I was really into, on the east side of Rocky Mount, trying to turn that community around. And I was mentoring a lot of gang members. And one gang member said to me, he said, Mr. Atkinson, he said, when y'all don't whoop y'all children, he said, we do, to get them in line.
Wow.
And when he said it, I said, man, this is real.
Yeah.
Because if you join the gang, they're going to whoop you.
Right.
For not being disciplined. But we as parents and guardians and leaders, we're afraid.
Right.
And he said that to me. He said, this is the problem, Mr. Atkinson. Y'all ain't whooping these children, but when they want to be a part of us, we're going to whoop them. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
And he changed my perspective of that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say tonight to those that's the parents that's listening, and they're saying that they're having problems? You know, what can they do, or is there anything that what do you recommend?
Here's what I'll say, what I've done over the years. My son is 33 years old. I rarely compromise with my son.
Whoa,
I rarely compromise.
Now that's probably one of the that's very powerful what you just said, because we see that.
You see it. And
wow.
So and then I made sure even with his mother. So we rarely compromise. And if my son would go to his mom and she tell him one thing, you know, children will do it, he'll go to me, but we were on the same page.
Right.
But I rarely compromise with my son, because I know I needed what kind of product. I know I needed that product, what I was depositing into him. I needed to be able to see it. And no, what I would say to parents, this is really, really quick to answer the question. No is still a good word.
Right.
And no is a complete sentence.
Right.
And no shouldn't hurt any parent, because they start crying and they're upset. And, you know, you want to give our children the best of everything, but no still sounds good.
Right.
No still feels good.
Right.
No will keep them out of trouble.
Right.
And it's okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's better to tell them no than to go through the other alternatives.
Right. The times my son did step out of bounds when he was in, whether he was in college or whatever the case may be, I said, I got a gut feeling I don't feel good about this. And so he would do his route. He would do his thing. And then it didn't go his way. And I said, I told you.
Yeah.
I said, no, but you did it anyway. So we just got to get back to parenting. We've got to get back to stopping in schools and not just going to basketball games and football games. I wish the stands would be full during the day instead of on Thursday nights and Friday nights in football. We've got to get back to, like you said, the village.
Yeah.
My mom had 6 boys, and I tell you, and I'm not advocating any violence, but my mama would slap you in a minute. She had 6 boys. She would punch us in the chest. And you know what? Still today, and that little lady is, I don't know, small little lady. Still today, if she says something, we're going to get to pop to attention out of respect.
Right.
My daddy was a real quiet man. We didn't like disrespecting our father because he was a gentleman.
Right.
So his facial expression would tell us that his feelings would hurt.
Right.
That would get us in line. But my mama didn't care. She'd grab something and knock you upside your head. But guess what? It kept us out of trouble.
Right.
And we still respect that 78-year-old lady today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that's happening in the earth with all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Challenges. I think many of us, we're just in a challenging season. But what keeps you encouraged? when there's a very challenging season in your life, what are those things that really keep you encouraged to say, you know what, I'm dealing with this, but I'm getting back up and I'm going to carry out my assignment?
You know what? First of all, to God be the glory, because I'm around people like you. But I surround myself with a strong circle. I surround myself with strong,
that's very powerful,
with strong family.
Yeah.
Not all family,
Right,
but with strong family. And then every day I have on my mind, I said this, it's so many sheriffs, even so many people that's impacted my life. But deceased Sheriff Peterkin in Hope County, he always would tell me, he said, always be TV ready. Sheriff James Knight would say, hey, listen, each day is different. As a leader, you got to handle it this day. You got to forget about it and move on.
yeah,
You know, and I think about deceased Sheriff Clemens out of Rockingham County. He would tell me, say, encourage everybody, every sheriff, everybody, every day. And I think some of those brothers that are not even around, it's a piece of them in me.
right,
But I would say God and strong circles. Because, man, I get weak sometimes. And I'm saying weak, man, I don't know how I can go day to day, but to God be the glory. I'm able to push through. In Edgecombe County, man, and I share this, in Edgecombe County, we don't have all the resources a lot of agencies do,
right,
but we're hungry.
right.
And I tell people all the time, when you're hungry in this profession, when you're hungry, hey, life gets better and better and better. And guess what? We're going to keep driving. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep protecting.
Right.
So that's how I go every day. I love leading, and I got a great team. I love leading.
Yeah, and I want to say this, you know, you are a great leader, and one of the signs of, I think, of a great leader is that when men and women will follow you, even though there may be greater resources somewhere else.
Yeah.
But there's something you carrying that's not attached to those resources.
You know what? You're right. First of all, man, I come every day with a lot of love and respect. But secondly, I believe in boundaries and rules.
Yeah.
Once again, no is no, but at the Edgecombe Sheriff's Office, my guys want to follow the rules and their boundaries. And I let them know, so if you want to go somewhere, I get it, I understand.
Yeah.
I get it. But we don't lose many. If I do lose some, a lot of them are lost to federal agencies and state agencies. I get it. That's enhancing. But at the end of the day, we're hungry down in Edgecombe County. I've got a good team. I put them up against anybody, and I've got a veteran team at the top. So we just continue to put out a good product.
Yeah. Well, I think that good product that's being produced in Edgecombe County is because of this great product.
Well, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. I tell you, man, you wake up with love and respect, man. And so when you go every day, everybody's bringing 140 employees are bringing different aspects every day. But I try to tell them, don't bring that stuff to the workplace,
Right.
Because all of us got issues. But we've got jobs. We have jobs when you get there. So, man, it's daily working on people as well.
Right.
Because all of us got baggage, all of us got hurt, all of us got pain that we're carrying, and then you got to deal with the public. So that's my job when I walk in, just make sure I'm bringing some positive energy and I always been even keeled to handle issues.
Right. Wow. Some good stuff.
Yeah.
So are you aware of any, I guess, new laws that's out or coming out?
Well, one of the things we're battling is House Bill 328. That's that hemp bill. I tell you, that is a hot bill. And sheriffs, we're really pushing for, you start talking about marijuana and hemp and all the good stuff. If you look around Rocky Mount, what catches young people's attention is marijuana leaves on windows and the lights all the way around the stores. And so what we're finding out across the state is a lot of it is real marijuana being sold out of those stores. And so our parents need to really stay focused. And then there's no regulation on it. So we're pushing to make sure if anybody come buy those products and they be having Fruit Loop bags and Cheerios bags, anybody come buy those products that they're over 21 or less over 21. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And there are a lot of those that's popping up everywhere.
And the reason why we're fighting for this is because what we don't understand is these stores, a lot of them are ran to hurt the fabric of young people in America.
Right.
And so what we've got to understand what's going on right now is, in order for other countries to destroy America, we need to destroy their children. We got a lot of children that are overdosing. We got a lot of children that are smoking weed, and it's too strong for them. I mean, this stuff is happening. So this is a global fight. Now, what we see in our communities, we just think it's in our communities, lights around stores. And what we're finding sometimes is the same store owner. You may think you own one, but you own 20 stores. We shut that store down. He's moving somewhere else. So it's a lucrative business, but it's affecting our neighborhoods and our children. That's who it's killing.
Wow. And that's really sad.
No, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And so we allow these stores to pop up in our neighborhoods, and they feed our neighborhoods, and our neighborhoods think they're caring for us, but in the long run, they're killing us.
Right.
And it's a long-term goal. When you start hooking up with China and Iran, it's a long-term goal that, hey, they're already embedded in your neighborhood, and we're steady buying from these stores. But what we're finding out that it's real marijuana being sold to children.
Wow.
Across the state and across America.
Wow. I believe that.
Yeah.
Has technology changed the way you all?
Has changed the game. Yeah. AI is big.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've been taught as sheriffs is to readily identify AI things. But when we start talking technology, one of the hottest subject matters right now is flock cameras. And we have extensive policies in place. We know we've been seeing all across the state and all across America where somebody used flock to check somebody's license plate because they're in a relationship. We don't listen. That makes me mad as fire when we see other law enforcement doing that. But I tell you, flock has its benefits. It solve a lot of crimes with flock murderers, kidnappers. When we can identify that vehicle and where they're tracking, they may be tracking from Tarboro to Rocky Mount to Wilson, and that camera can track it. So it's got more benefits than bad. We just got to make sure we have those boundaries in place for law enforcement that choose to violate policies.
Right.
To make sure it's line. But it is an A+ thing, and I hope that doesn't go away.
Yeah, I just saw in the news before we came on where in Virginia, the flock cameras caught they stopped this car, or it led them to stop this car, and had a trunk full of gold that they had. I think it was like $1 million or something.
Hey, look, it works. Flock is a game changer. You know, we just got to make sure we put the safeguards in place to make sure law enforcement don't cross the line. That's all.
Right. Yeah. And that happens in
anything.
Yeah.
Anything you do. But it's a game changer. Game changer.
So I have a couple of rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Sweet tea, preferably from Parker's Barbecue or Abrams in Pine Top.
Y'all can send the advertisement money later.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Football or basketball?
Definitely football. I played college football at Noran, and I'm a football man.
Who has been your greatest mentor?
My dad and my grandfather. Two of the hardest working men that I've ever known.
What has contributed to your success?
Discipline.
Wow. That's powerful. Wow. So when history looks back on your time as sheriff of Edgecombe County, what do you hope people will say about Edgecombe County because you serve?
Man, that's I can talk about that for days. One of the things I want people to recognize that I was kind.
Wow.
And that I cared. But when I think about one of my lieutenants, when I came in to change the game with making sure that they were getting paid what they should, and one of my lieutenants walked up to me and said, "Sheriff, you've changed my life." So my impact has changed families within the sheriff's office.
Wow.
And I never forget those conversations. One of my lieutenants would say to me, he said, "Man, you've done enough. If you walk away right now, you've done enough." Because it's changed what they put on the table.
Right.
And that's what this comes down to, is what they can put on. It's changed their retirement status. And so I'll always remember that. But I was kind, I was cared, impacted their lives, not just the deputies in detention and my clerks and the 911 operators, but what it's done is impacted their lives. And so I can take away and walk away with that.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest things that you can leave.
I can walk away with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Our time is up, but anything else you want to share tonight?
Well, just to the public, Apostle, just know that law enforcement, we're here to serve. I tell people all the time, the things that we do at the Edgecombe Sheriff's Office and Sheriff's Office across the state, that I'm responsible for patrol. I'm responsible for the detention center. I'm responsible for the courthouse, animal services, 911, community engagement, civil process. The sheriff's office, and I didn't realize this, Matt, coming from the state trooper job, we had one thing is kind of look good, write tickets, go to Rex, that kind of thing. But when I became the sheriff, I didn't know how much responsibility that a sheriff office has.
Right.
And it is overwhelming. That's why I continue to fight for my staff, my clerks, my 911 operators, the deputies, the detention officers, my animal services people, because I see the body of work that it takes.
Right.
I did not realize how hard they worked.
Right.
When I was a state trooper, I was a training machine. I trained, I enforced traffic law. I went to Rex, man-made, but I didn't see the magnitude of what those deputy sheriff's officers are doing across the state. So I just want the public to understand that as long as I'm the sheriff, and just know that we got some capable and hardworking people in Edgecombe County that deserve a higher wage, a higher salary.
Right.
Because if not, you become a training ground.
Right.
So each and every day I see it. We do the same thing that every other sheriff's office across the state does, but there's some hardworking people in Edgecombe County, and we love serving our people. We take it personal when crimes are committed in Edgecombe County. We take it really, really personal. And the phenomenon too, and I know we got to go, Matt,
you're right,
is if something tragic happens in Edgecombe County, I don't have to call out my deputies.
Right.
They start calling me.
Right.
Sheriff, what do you need? They can be off with their families. That's why I know they're dedicated.
Right.
They're dedicated men and women in this county. They start calling me and say, Sheriff, we're coming out.
Right.
We don't want this to be handled. We want to help. And I tell you, when you get there and I don't have to call out people, say, call this first. They already there because
right.
It's personal. And we have a slogan too, man, just protecting our boundaries in Edgecombe County, protecting the county line. So I got a great team, man. I love coming to work. This is year 9.5 for me. In April, it'll be 10 years.
Wow.
And I tell you, it's been a fight, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep fighting the impact in Edgecombe County.
Right. Keep fighting, brother.
Oh, yeah.
And I pray that those that's in charge, commissioners, whoever, will see the value of Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office, and will say, you all deserve a pay raise. Yeah. That's my prayer.
Thank you, Matt. All the agencies, Nash, Wilson, Halifax, everybody around us, we're like at the bottom. And so when you see that a lot of times, man, it makes me angry.
Yeah, I know.
It's all I can take because we know the body of work. I had to make some decisions because last year we unlocked 455 vehicles in Edgecombe County, free of charge.
Wow.
But this year I said, man, I'm overworking my deputies. I'm overworking them. So this year we cut back to pets, elderly, and it was something else, and children.
Right.
That's the only way we go to that call. But last year we unlocked 455 vehicles free of charge, just as a courtesy. And so we pulled back. So those kind of things I had to cut back on because I was overworking my staff. We do funeral escorts. A lot of agencies pay for funeral escorts on the weekends. Wow. We don't. But we had to fall in line with everybody else because we were giving services. And Monday through Friday, we still do our funeral escorts.
Wow.
But on Saturdays and Sundays, for manpower, I've requested that funeral homes contact deputies off duty. Wow. We had to do some things differently because I was overworking them. Right. And they're getting underpaid.
Yeah. And camera 2, let me look in that camera for a moment. Listen, those of you that's I'm just speaking from the heart, that's in commissioners, city, county manager, whoever, it's no reason why Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office should be at the bottom of the pay scale with the work that they do. And you all know the validity and the value of the sheriff. So I pray that you all will take a look at that. I mean, it's no sense for that. Their pay needs to be increased. So I pray that commissioners, and county manager, whoever, that you all will see the value of what you all have in Edgecombe County. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And like I said, we don't take it for granted. I've got some good leaders, and I want the best for them. And when they retire, I want to make sure they live comfortably and they don't have to go work a bunch of jobs. But I love leading Edgecombe County. I take pride. I got great partners in the area. Sheriff Keith Stone, man, we talk 4 or 5 times daily, just bouncing ideas off each other. We want what's best for Edgecombe, Nash, and the city of Rocky Mount. And at the end of the day, it's the 3 pillars of law enforcement: enforcing laws, investigations, and community service. My job ultimately is to keep the community safe. Wow. And that's what I do.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it's been a great conversation tonight. Been sitting, having a great conversation with Sheriff Clee Atkinson, Edgecombe County Sheriff. Listen, sir, I really appreciate you taking time tonight coming on the podcast.
My man.
Yes, sir.
Call me back every week if you want to. We can talk sports. We can talk football.
Yes,
we can do it all.
You can come back every week. You're about the only one that I say can come back every week. Hey, listen, I'm Apostle Matt Tillery until next Monday night at 7 p.m. Go, advance the kingdom.
We pray you have been empowered and blessed by this teaching. Join us next week for the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. If you would like to reach us, email us at mltillery@icloud.com.
And